I'm very excited about it. Obviously we got that monkey off our back as far as getting past the first round, so we can be excited about that. But I think just Verlander's a good pitcher, and I mean we have to stick to our game plan, and that's how we'll beat him.
Yeah, we're obviously excited to be here. It's one step away from being in the World Series. As far as Verlander goes, this is a tough pitcher, and he's one of those guys you got to grind out at bats and kind of wait him out, wait for those mistakes, and capitalize on them.
Okay. Middle right.
Yeah, Mookie, maybe you talk about the monkey off your back and just what this feels like the last couple of days. How different is it than getting ready for that first round, which you've been through a few times? Having won a series now, how different does this feel coming into this now?
It's a good different. I mean, I'm not packing my stuff up and going home. I think it's just another few days to prepare, and it's the same thing we did. Going into the ALDS, and now we get to do it again, and so it's a little different to do it twice. But I mean, it's like I said, it's a good different.
And JD, for you came here for this. This was one of the draws of coming to Boston. Getting that first round celebration, at what point did you put that in perspective that, this is happening sort of the way maybe you envisioned in February when you signed?
Yeah, obviously coming here, they had a great team last year. That was one of the drawing points to come here and just, help out as much as I can. The fact that where we're at, I feel like if you ask everyone in here, it really doesn't surprise us. It's one of those things that we all expect us to keep going and to be here. So, but this is another series, another big series versus another good team, and it's going to be a tough battle, so we're going to be ready for it.
Far left.
Question for both of you. How much confidence did you gain by watching Chris Sale do what he did the other day in New York? And obviously, how excited are you to have him on the mound in Game 1?
You got it? Me? I don't know about confidence gained. I feel like I've never lost confidence in Chris pitching. He's been, in my opinion, the best left-handed pitcher in baseball all season. So, I mean, my confidence has always been there, and it's obviously exciting having him go tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I think, what he's made of, what kind of attitude he has towards the game, and, he's a competitor. So, yeah, there was definitely no confidence lost there.
Dan in the front.
So both guys, Alex, after the game, after you clinched in New York, said people seem to have given up on you, thought it was 2-0 when you left Boston 1-1. Was there any sense in the room of that local folks here had written you guys off after the 1-1 split?
For me, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's 25 guys and with the coaching staff that go in and play. So I think we kind of block everything else out. We can't worry about what the feeling is around us, as long as internally we know what we can do and how we can win. I think that's the most important thing, and we believed in ourselves, and I think that's why we went out and did what we did.
Did you get any sense of that, JD?
Kind of exactly what Mookie said. I feel like when you're on a team, and especially our team, you're in a bubble, and everything else is kind of the distractions, and everything else is kind of noise. For us, like he said, we never stop believing in ourselves. 1-1, it's not a big deal. The series is even. I think everyone kind of knew that it was going to be a, kind of a back and forth thing. We didn't think, honestly, I honestly thought we were going to go all 5 games, just because that's how it's been all year against them. If you look at the history, that's how it was the entire season. They have a great team, and for us to go and put our heads down because it's a 1-1 going to New York wasn't a big deal, I think.
Ken on the left.
For either of you guys, is this heightened or intensified because it is the 2 best teams in the major leagues going at it here from this year? And also, have you chosen a song yet to celebrate when you win this round?
No songs. But, I guess knowing that they're a great team, we have a great team too. I just, that it's going to be a fun battle. So I think we just, you have to embrace it. There's no, no sense in making it more than what it is. I think we have to go out and play, no matter who the opponent is. And I mean, that's just it's just how you have to do it. I mean, you just have to embrace that you have two good teams.
No song, JD?
No song. I mean, what do you? I don't know. No,
You should know the song.
What is it? What's their song? Deep in the Heart of Texas? I don't know. No, probably not.
On the right.
JD, in some ways, it's full circle for you playing the Astros. What do you? And I know you've discussed this a lot, but what do you remember from your time with them, and especially toward the end, where you had started to figure it out, and they ended up deciding to move on, and that kind of set you on this path to lead to where you are today.
What's the question exactly?
What do you remember from your time with the Astros? What stands out to you?
What stands out to me? I think the growing pains. Really, I think I learned how to fail, if that's something. I think I went through all my failure there, and I kind of learned and I grew, and I knew kind of what worked, what didn't work, and then I just, after that, it was, I think God gave me another opportunity and put me in a good situation, with Detroit, and that's kind of where I continue to grow until, where I am today, really.
Brian on the left.
JD, from your time with Verlander, what stands out about his focus and preparation about getting prepared for big games and playoff games, like we're in right now?
He's definitely well prepared. He's always has been. He's been that guy that's, I remember he used to always call me in the video room and, JD, what do you got on this guy's swing? What do you got on this and that? We were in Detroit. And, he's a great pitcher, and he steps up in big games. So I think, but we have a great offense and we have a great lineup, and, we do our homework too, and I think it's going to be a good battle.
Brian on the right.
Mookie, you played with Tony Kemp growing up. What do you remember of him from that time, and how crazy is it that you're both on this stage now?
There's so many memories. I mean, I don't even know what age we started playing together. So I think it's just one of those things where I'm just proud to say there's another guy, that I grew up with that's playing in, playoffs with me now. And, he goes back home and we see each other back home and, mess around and do whatever. But, it's just a good feeling to know that, where I come from, there's major league talent for sure.
Bob on the right.
JD, when you were in the AL Central together with Chris Sale, do you remember your reaction when he got traded to the Red Sox? I mean, was it a relief that, hey, we don't have to face this guy a million times?
Exactly what it was. I just remember those. We used to always have I felt like always have a day game in Chicago, 4 o'clock game, not even day game, one of those twilight mid shadow games, 4 o'clock games in Chicago, and we always landed Chris Sale for that game. And I was like, dude, this is like a horror film. This is terrible. And so I remember when that happened, I was definitely relieved that we didn't have to face him anymore.
Scott on the right.
Mookie, another question for you on Kemp. What did you think of his tweet back to yours, and have you guys communicated since you beat the Yankees, knowing that you're going to play against him?
Yeah, we talked. We texted the other day and just wish each other good luck. It's just one of those things where he's like a brother. Like I said, we grew up and played against each other and with each other in the summer. So it's just one of those things where you just hope for the best for somebody that you kind of growing up playing with.
Hazel.
Mookie, without giving away any family secrets, how do you see the running game changing with Maldonado behind the plate?
I mean, he's got one of the best arms, if not the best arm. So, he's a great catcher back there. But I think it's just one of those things where we have to continue to do whatever we do to win the game. And so, I mean, that's all you can do. You have to respect him, but we're good too, and we'll find a way to get it done.
On the right.
Mookie and JD, you've had tremendous seasons, 1 and 2 in the batting title for Major League Baseball. Can you comment on how perhaps you fed off each other, maybe competed with each other, and can you carry that through the postseason, this healthy competition, helping a team win?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those things where, our personalities are so similar that we're just always talking hitting and always wanting to get better and work. And So it's one of those things that it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like we're always in the cage together hitting, and we're always kind of pushing each other in that sense. Like, oh, what do you got on this? What do you have on that type deal? And, you know, kind of game planning and getting ready for a pitcher. And it's just, I don't know, it's cool because, you know, I've been on many different teams, and you don't really find, like, personalities as similar when it comes to, you know, passion for hitting as, you know, when I found him. And kind of, as far as the playoff goes, I think it doesn't really change. I mean, we still prepare the same way. We still go about it the exact same way as we went if we're facing, I don't know, a day game in the middle of April or something. It doesn't matter to us. I think we've always done a really good job of preparing the exact same way and not getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, nothing changes, you know. It's been a long season. We were successful this year, and there'd be no reason for us to change and do something different now. I know I have to do whatever I do. That's how I scored 120 runs or whatever. It's just doing whatever I do to get on base for him. And, you know, I think that's how we just continue to win games.
What have you learned from JD?
I mean, I could, you know, sit here all day and talk about what I've learned, but the most important thing is just to trust your work. I mean, you know, I go in it and put in so much work. Like I said, we put in so much work, and you have to go and trust it, you know. I mean, I think that's the most important thing that I've learned for sure.
On the left.
Yep.
Yeah, for both of you guys, your bullpen's taken a fair amount of heat this season. You know, what did they show you kind of in that first round, and how much confidence you have in them kind of going into this round?
I think, you know, the confidence has been the same. You know, they've been solid. I feel like for most of the season, you know, they had a rough patch for a little bit. I think that first half, the division series, they obviously got a lot of heat for, you know, the game or whatever, the first game. But if you look back, I mean, the last two games, they were solid. And, you know, they got it done for us. And I think the confidence is kind of the same. I think this is the playoffs. It's going to be a grind. You know, you're facing the lineup they were facing. It's not an easy lineup. You know, it only gets harder from here. So it's one of those things where I think everybody likes to point fingers and say, like, oh, this is this and that. But what people have to realize is that these are the best players in the world right now. And it's all funneling down to the best teams, the best lineups, the best pitchers, the best bullpen. And it's a battle. It's not easy.
Front left.
This one's for both of you. Alex has gotten a lot of praise for the way he managed the series and all season long. Just from your personal points of view, what are his biggest strengths?
For me, it's just his trust in the guys. I mean, he trusts every single one of us, and you know, I think we trust him, and so, you know, I think he puts us all in the right positions to succeed, or in the best positions to succeed. And, you know, I mean, that's how he's getting the most out of everybody. And I think when a manager can do that, and we all respect him and whatnot, if a manager can do that, you know, he's definitely going to have a successful team. And, you know, that's what we are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. You know, he makes decisions and that show that he's got faith in us and faith in the whole team, not just 3, 4, 5 guys. And I think in order to have a team as complete, I feel like, and as good and well-rounded as we do, you need to have that. You need to have that confidence in every player, and everybody's here to do a job. And I think Alex has shown that all year, and he's made that a point to the whole team.
Front row.
JD, you talked about your failure in Houston. How much did it / does it still drive you to this day? In part two, I know the ALCS is special no matter what, but is it any more special because it's the Astros?
How much does it drive me? And I think my failures in Houston is what made me who I am. I think it's given me that drive, that drive to keep working, because you never know what can happen type deal. As far as it being Houston, no, really. I mean, it's, you know, I learned a lot from Houston, and you know what? It made me who I am, and there's no really animosity there. You know, in my sense, they did me a favor by allowing me to leave and going to play on another team. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Who knows where I would have been.
I remember one of your biggest issues was keeping weight on during the season. Is that still an issue?
It's definitely something that I work on. I battle a little bit with. Me and Yoshi in there. I kind of let him know day one, and he makes me these big old shakes right before I go home. Weight gainer shakes, so I don't lose weight. So it's kind of our little joke that we have on the side. But yeah, it's one of those things that I battle, and it's something I'll continue to battle for my career.
Pete on the left.
Mookie, if you had 3 hits during 4 games in the middle of the season, nobody would even notice or pay attention. When it happens in the playoffs, it kind of gets magnified. How do you sort of ride the ups and downs of, the games being so important and everybody's expecting you to be one of the producers?
I think it's just one of those things where I have to kind of embrace it. If I have to go out and be one of the producers, then, you have to go do it, no matter if you try and push it to the side or not. So it's just one of those things where I know I have to go in and do something and help the team win in some way. And if it's getting 3 hits, then cool. If it's getting, making a nice play in the outfield, that's fine too. So I'm just going to do whatever I can to help the team win. And, I think we have a bunch of guys here that can do something to help the team win. So it's just one of those things where I don't feel so pressured to do everything, but I know I have to do something.
Is it because it's the postseason? Is it different than it feels in that sense during the regular season?
I think just the sense is that we have a limited amount of games, and I think so. If you don't get it done now, then it's like never. And we're during the season. You have 162 to get it done. So. I guess there is some sense of pressure there, but I have to understand that I can only do what I can do.
Obviously these are the biggest games of the year. We're fought long and hard to get here, so at the end of the day, you just kind of got to look at it as the same game. It's still the same process. You got to score more runs than the other team and try to give up less. So. We know where we're at, but at the same time, we try to, take it at ease and play our game.
On the left.
Hey, Chris, just a 2-part question. One, how did you feel coming out of that bullpen stint that you had the other night? And also, what did that series maybe do for you guys as a team to get you ready for this?
Yeah, that was a big series. Obviously, the Yankees are a good team, and, we played them tough, and they played us tough at times throughout the year. And I think just going into Yankee Stadium and taking those 2 games from them, one and being a blowout, and then the other one just kind of being a gritty game, with CeCe on the mound. We know what he's done throughout his career and in the postseason. So I think that just gives us an even bigger boost going into this series.
Middle right.
Chris, you were talking about same game, same process, and yesterday Alex was talking about the whole concept of clutch and what it means for these bigger games. You've been through a couple of these Game 1 starts now. What have you learned about yourself and how to make sure that the moment doesn't start to become big around you and that you stay to that process?
I think it's just staying locked in, not trying to play above your playing grade, I guess, not reaching for more. I think, we were 108 win team for a reason, and that was because everyone did what they needed to do throughout the year to get those wins, and guys stepped up. I think it's just more of the same, not trying to do more in these situations where the lights are brighter, the crowds are louder. We don't need more, we just need the same, and we need to keep doing what we've been doing the whole year, because what we've been doing the whole year has been really good.
Bob on the right.
Chris, when you guys were in the AL Central together, do you watch Verlander a lot closer when you guys played the Tigers? And did you ever have any matchups you get more fired up facing a guy like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, I'm not really worried about the pitcher that I'm facing. I'm not facing him. I don't have to hit off of him. We know who we're up against. He's obviously one of the best around and really good in the postseason. So, like I said, you just strap it on the same way and go out there and fight till the end.
On the left.
Chris, these guys, they ambushed you pretty good in the first game last year. How much did you learn from that? And kind of is that kind of a motivating factor for you at all, kind of going into tomorrow?
Yeah, this is a rematch of last year. Obviously, the winner of this one goes to the World Series. So, like I've been saying the whole time, just keep playing the same game. Not trying to reach for more, not trying to be better than I am. And we shouldn't play as a team like that either. We need to, like I said, just keep doing what we've been doing, putting our heads down, playing hard, working hard, and in the end, it'll fall how it falls, and hopefully we'll be on top.
Pete in the middle.
Chris, obviously they were very careful with you down the stretch. Is it to a point now where, there's no limits, you can go however long you can go within the context of the game? Yeah,
no doubt. I think we're at the point now where there's no holding back. There's no limitations. Like I said before, it's all hands on deck. We're here to win. We got to do whatever it takes to get there. And I think you can ask anybody in that clubhouse or on that coaching staff; they'll do about anything it takes to get there. So whether it's doing this or that, it doesn't matter. I think everyone's prepared to do whatever it takes to get to the next level.
I mean, I'm sure there was a degree of uncertainty because you went a long time without pitching over about 2 months. Now that you're here and you've had a couple of playoff games, does it feel like you guys did the right thing and that from a physical standpoint, you're as good as it can be at this point? Or?
Yeah, I've had faith and trust in the coaching staff, my teammates, the doctors here. We're at a point now where we can kind of let it go and just get back to pitching. And I think that process leading up to that was a big part of that. So, I definitely agree with that. I think we had to do what we had to do during the season to get here now, and I'm very thankful for a lot of people for that.
On the left.
Chris, can you talk about David's start in Game 2 and overall just his struggles in the playoffs and how much confidence you guys have in him in Game 2?
Yeah, well, that last thing you said there is we still have the confidence in him. We know who he is. He's been one of the best left-handed pitchers in this game for 10 years. Game 2's behind us. We won that series, so that doesn't matter. We're facing the Houston Astros now, so I like his matchup against the Astros. Obviously, he's pitched well against them the last couple of years, and he was the only reason we had a chance last year in the playoffs. So against Houston, so I like where we're at.
Bob on the right.
Chris, you enjoy this series more in the sense it's more traditional series with the starters, 2 great starting rotations, rather than bullpenning, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's more of a. I think it's just better for the game. It's kind of one of those things where you have this starter versus this starter against these lineups. Obviously, we both have very good bullpens and big arms on either side, but this is more, I guess, the traditional way to play the game and the way I like to play the game better, anyways.
Front middle.
Chris, during the season, Alex Cora, some of the players talk about the ways Alex Cora communicates with the players, not only talking about baseball, also about personal life. How important in this time of the season that kind of communication, more relaxed?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think that's kind of been the difference maker is the overall sense of just relaxation, no real panic at any time of the year. When he gives guys days off, they get the day off. There's no get the day off and then panic. This kind of thing. He trusts in the process, and he trusts everybody that he has on his team. He trusts in his coaches and his trainers and every player on the roster. So I think being able to see him in those situations at ease, makes us feel more confident about ourselves because, he's the one running this whole thing, and if he's not, worried about it, then why should we? And I think that makes us play the game that we need to play and play a little bit more loose, which is, in the end, the right way to go about it.
Up front.
Chris, you look at their lineup. If you run down the challenges they offer, Bregman, Correa, Springer, Altuve, Martin Gonzalez, if you run through that for a minute.
Yeah, like I said, we know who we're up against. They got some good arms, and they have a good lineup. They wouldn't be here if they didn't. So, got guys that can put the ball in the seats at any time, and you just try to break that down. Try not to give up that big inning or that big hit. On the flip side, I like the guys that I have in my corner too. So, I think on both sides of the ball, we're looking at challenges, but we also, have a challenge for them too.
Let me read you what AJ said. He said he's incredible. He has weapons that are sort of beyond human nature. His spin on his breaking ball is ridiculous. Doesn't matter whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It's uncomfortable. What do you think of that from AJ?
About
you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I don't know. I guess you got to ask him. It's nice, but it doesn't change what I have to do or what I'm going to do. Play to win. That's it.
Johnny on the left.
Yes, Chris, being so tall, is it tough pitching to somebody so small as a two-way?
No. I think the way he swings the bat makes it tough to pitch to him. He's as good as it gets. Obviously, he proved that last year being the MVP of the league. So pitch him the same way as you pitch everyone else. And just like I said, just try to keep the ball in the yard and try to get quick outs.
On the left.
Chris, you guys, I think, have never let the moment get too big this year. And when it has, you've responded, and you seemed like you guys have had fun in big moments. Do you agree with that? And how are you going to do that in the playoffs? Are you confident that you will do that in the playoffs?
Absolutely. I think, obviously, you work the entire year to get here, and the entire year preps you for this. Obviously, throughout the year, you're going to come into big situations or late innings or big games or big moments. And I think, like you said, we've responded really well. We've been down by a lot and came back, and we played close games and lost and responded well the next day. All those things get you prepared for these moments. And like I've said, we have an unbelievable leader in Alex Cora, keeping us in the right direction, keeping us going down the right path. And I think all those things combined are going to get us where we need to go.
Last one from Pete.
We just had Mookie and JD in here. If you were an MVP voter, who would you vote for MVP in the American League?
I think I'd just flip a coin or tell them to rock, paper, scissors. I don't know. They both bring something to the game that it's just separates them both from everyone else. It's hard to deny 130 RBIs, 330 and 40 something. But then you throw Mookie in the mix. He's a 30-30 guy, Gold Glove defense, hit close to 350. I'd say you just flip a coin or just give it to them both.
It's a different team, and they made some additions in the offseason, and they're playing differently. And like I said yesterday, there's too much talk about AJ and me and having an advantage at the end. I don't catch a ground ball. I don't hit. AJ doesn't catch anymore. It's about the players, and they're the ones that are going to decide what's going to happen on the field.
Far left.
Alex, just a thought on what you saw from Chris coming out of the bullpen, but also what you expect from him in Game 1.
He was really good. Like I said, we had to be patient and wait for the perfect scenario, and that was the perfect scenario. 3-run lead in the 8th. You go Sale, Kimbrel, and you take your chances, and hopefully they don't score 4 before we get the 6 out. So under control. I do feel that the experience last year coming out of the bullpen in Game 4 in the division series helped him out. That was my biggest worry. Actually, I forgot that he came in relief against the Astros last year. But he was good. Good fastball, good off-speed pitches. He didn't get caught up in the moment. Actually, he really enjoyed it. You could tell. And I don't want to say it was a bullpen because it's a lot different, But as far as usage, it was perfect. Not too many pitches, very efficient, and now he's ready. As far as tomorrow, just another good start. As you guys know, we rely on our starters the same way they do. So 6 innings, and give us a chance to win, and then go to the bullpen.
Middle right.
Alex, yesterday you said you were leaning towards same roster, 11 pitchers. Anything change on that front? You reconsider anything?
Now we're waiting for the workout. As you guys know, we have to see how Mitch is. He's going to hit, going to run the bases, going to take ground balls, and we'll decide what we're going to do with him. Everything will be decided around that. So we have to wait for the workout.
Ken on the left.
Alex, did you learn anything about Verlander being alongside him last year for those 2 months that you didn't know before?
I didn't know. Not really. I learned a lot. He loves to compete, which is the most important thing at this level. He got traded, and he found different ways to get people out, and he did a great job with the Astros. From day one, when he got there and he threw that bullpen in the middle of the doubleheader against the Mets on a Saturday after Harvey, he was into it, and he brought up a different vibe to the team. Everybody knows how Dallas felt after the trading deadline, and Jeff was very patient with the trade market and everything that was going on. And I still remember that day, August 31st, which it was my first big league managing game, because AJ got thrown out in the first inning. Like in the fourth inning, and nothing against Cam Maven, he was great. I think he got tackles to the whole country because he stole second in the World Series. Somebody came down and goes, "We got Cam Maven." And okay, yeah. And then we got home, and I think it was has to be 10:40 Central Time. People start texting and calling, and there was rumors that we were gonna get JV, and then Dallas was the one that told me. He's like, "We got him," and it was a different vibe. He dominated from the first pitch all the way to Game 6, I think he pitched in the World Series. Professional guy that pays attention to details. He's one of the best, future Hall of Famer, and it was cool to be around him last year.
Was he the best guy you've seen in your time in the major leagues? In a stretch like that, Beckett in 07, Josh was better in 07. And that's, I know it's hard to believe, but what Josh did here in 07, that was amazing. I think more like the totality of his career, though, in terms of...
Yeah, I mean, you start looking at the numbers and the wins and the strikeouts. Now he's become a postseason poster child. It wasn't that way early in his career, but now he's the guy. And like I said, I was very proud of him last year, proud of what he's done this year. I consider him my friend, and hopefully he struggles the rest of October.
Back right.
Alex, yesterday you were talking about Bregman, like Pedroia, will use anything for motivation, for fuel. And you guys, you played New York after you won. How, in your experience as a player and a teammate and a manager, how powerful of a motivational tool is holding a grudge or having a chip on your shoulder?
I don't know. There's been a few things in the playoffs that I lived through it. Cleveland decided to bring Beckett's ex-girlfriend in Game 5, I think it was. That didn't work out. And I don't know about the song. But that's for the players to talk about. I know they had a great time after we clinched, to play the music, and I don't know. It was funny, but I think at the end, if you need motivation at this time, you're playing the wrong sport. You got a chance to win 4 games and go to the World Series. and win 8 games and get a ring. And like I joke with them, but it's true. That check in December is a good one, you know. So this is what you play for. This is what you play for. Your off-season workouts, and then spring training, and then 162 games, and you put yourself in a situation that you either win 11 games in October or 12 games in October, and you can say that you play for the best team in baseball. That's the only motivation you need, and our guys are locked in with that. They understand that.
Middle left.
Alex, can you talk a little bit more about Chris Sale in the sense that it seems like the moment doesn't get too big for him? It seems like he embraces the moment. Do you agree with that, and do you feel like he's ready for this moment?
He's been ready. Game 1 last year in the division series, it wasn't a good one for him, and instead of taking it as a negative, he learned from it. And then he came here in Game 4 for 3 innings, and he dominated. One changeup that Alex was out in front, hit out of the ballpark, but he did an outstanding job in that game, and I know he was very excited to get the ball for the first game in the division series against New York. He was more than excited to come in relief. You know, he told me 3 days in a row, hey, I'm coming in. And now he's excited to have a second chance against the Houston Astros.
Hazel in the middle.
Alex, just piggybacking off what Johnny asked you, the personnel may be different as far as the Astros are concerned this time around, but have you seen a difference in their philosophy or how they approach certain game situations that may have not been the case when you were bench coach?
No, you study them and you try to, pick a few things from them. When healthy, they can do a lot of things. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. They put the ball in play. They run the bases. I think their biggest improvement is their defense. They're a lot better defensively. Cora has played at a high level at shortstop. Altuve, he's been better turning those plays. In the outfield, they're very aggressive with their positioning, and it works. It seems like they've been more aggressive this year compared to last year. They have different ways to beat you. They got different personnel. They came here early September, and Marisnik defensively changed probably two games, the first 2 games of the series, playing defense. Was Jake here in the roster for that one? Yeah. I know he played good against us. Bregman at third base, his range, he's a shortstop playing third base. And the biggest difference, I do believe they made an adjustment because of who they were thinking they were going to play in October is Martin Maldonado. I didn't see that coming, knowing that Brian was going to be healthy and Stassi was playing great. But that's what they do. They think ahead, and you got the Indians leading the league in stolen bases. You got us playing the way we're playing. So they decided to go to one of the best defensive catchers in the league, and he's been outstanding. And that's the difference. I think their defense is underrated, and is probably one of the best in the big leagues.
On the left.
Alex, what did the bullpen show you last round, and kind of how much more settled does that kind of feel now going into this round?
He showed me, or he showed you guys? I was always comfortable with the bullpen. I knew we were going to have guys coming in situations that they didn't pitch in the regular season. I knew that in September we had a plan and we were staying away from certain guys in certain situations. I knew that Barnes, he was hurt, and he's been one of the best relievers in the big leagues. And I knew coming into October we were going to be fine.
The middle, the front.
Alex, one question in Spanish. How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
Good, how are you? Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, gracias. Considerando lo muy bien que tú conoces los dos equipos, ¿cuál es, según tu opinión, para esta serie, la principal fortaleza de los Astros y la principal fortaleza de Boston?
El picheo abridor es lo más importante. Ellos dependen de Verlander, de Cole, de Keuchel, de Morton. Nosotros dependemos de Sale, Price, Porcello, Eovaldi. Y cuando los abridores nos dan a ambos equipos 6, posibles 7 entradas, luego se hace fácil, entre comillas, poder maniobrar con el bullpen. Y esa es la fortaleza de ambos equipos.
The left in the front.
Alex, varios de tus jugadores hablaron hoy de la confianza que existe entre ellos, entre los instructores y tú. ¿Cómo has cultivado tú esa confianza a lo largo de la temporada?
No, lo más importante, y esto me lo tracé de meta hace 3 años o 4 años, era que en cualquier nivel que hubiese dirigido me iba a divertir con los jugadores. Dirigí 2 años invierno en Caguas y a pesar de que fue bueno y tuve conexión con los jugadores, yo no me divertí. Era agotador, por decirlo en buenas palabras. Y cuando yo mismo me voté, yo era el gerente general y me saqué yo mismo, decidí irme con Luis Matos. Me prometí a mí mismo que cuando me dieran una oportunidad iba a divertirme con ellos y yo creo que por eso es que ha funcionado. Porque sí, ellos son talentosos, ellos son los que juegan, pero a la misma vez tenemos muy buena comunicación en el camerino y yo creo que eso fue lo que lo logró, que me prometí a mí mismo que iba a pasarla bien con ellos.
On the right.
Alex, earlier JD was talking about his time at Houston and said that's where he learned to fail and then he learned to work. Just wondering, how would you characterize his work ethic that you've seen this season?
Oof, do we have time? It's amazing. We go back to that meeting in Orlando when we met with Scott and JD, and the way he talked about his routine, the way he talked about preparation and iPads and notebooks and visualizing and be ready from pitch 1 in batting practice until the last pitch of the game. I was impressed, and he's been consistent with it. He doesn't stop. He's always trying to find an edge. He always is working with his swing. Even when he won the Player of the Month in August, I think it was, and when we told him, he's like, "For real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you were the best player in August." And he's like, he didn't feel that way because he wasn't hitting the ball in the air. And that's who he is. He's always trying to be better. And it's been great. I think his biggest strength as a player is communicating with his teammates and using that information for his teammates and trying for them to be better, which is awesome. You don't see that often. Sometimes star players, they stay in their corner, you know, they're so into their craft that they don't share information, not on purpose, but that's the way it works for them. And with him, it's the other way around. If it's up to JD, he'll talk hitting to you the whole day and probably make you a good hitter. But that's the great thing about him.
Middle left.
Alex, este equipo se ha mantenido consistente del día 1 hasta el final. En lo personal a ti, ¿qué es lo que más te impresiona de este conjunto?
El enfoque, porque pudo haber sido fácil luego de la serie en agosto contra Nueva York, dejar de jugar duro, relajarse un poco y decir que estábamos a 10 juegos en la división, que ya la división era de nosotros y fue al revés. Siguieron jugando y fueron bien consistentes en su preparación, de la manera que juegan el juego. Cuando el oponente te dice que tu equipo juega desde el principio hasta el fin y eso es algo que les encanta, y estamos hablando de oponentes rivales, de verdad que eso pues te hace sentir bien y eso es lo que ellos han hecho. Desde el primer día de sprint training hasta el último juego en Nueva York han sido consistentes en la manera que juegan el juego.
Finalmente, ¿dónde tuviste la mejoría del bullpen a diferencia de final de temporada ahora en la primera serie frente a los Yankees?
Saludable y utilizando piezas diferentes que la gente no vio venir en la temporada regular. Septiembre para nosotros fue bien parecido a campo de entrenamiento. Lo cogimos serio, pero a la misma vez estábamos tratando de cuidar a los muchachos para que estuviesen en su mejor momento cuando entrara octubre, y hasta ahora funcionó.
In the right, in the back.
Alex, everybody knows how much David Price really wants to win so badly in the postseason. If you had the sense that, you know, maybe he's trying too hard, he's pressing too much, squeezing the ball too tight or anything like that, is there anything you would say to him to try to relax it, make it a little easier, or do you think that's not the issue at all?
I don't think that's the issue. I do feel that there's a few things that he got away from the last few starts, and we do feel that in Game 2 he'll get back to attack hitters in a certain way. That's the beauty of David. You know, he can attack you in different ways, but sometimes, you know, everything blends together, not only velocity-wise but location-wise, and you know, big league hitters take advantage of that. But we do feel that he'll get back to that guy that pitched, you know, from the All-Star break all the way till mid-September, and he'll be fine.
Johnny, far left.
Alex, what makes Altuve a dynamite player?
That he can hit a pitch up there and down there. You know, like he's amazing at getting the barrel to the ball. He can hit for power, but at the same time, he'll put the ball in play with 2 strikes, and he doesn't hit it hard, but he's so fast that it's an infield single. He goes the other way. When he wants, he doesn't expand, and he's a complete player. Just like JD, you know, he wants to be great, and that's impressive, you know, for a guy that I think he signed for $1,500, and now he's one of the best players in the big leagues. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing story. On a daily basis, he brings it. There's no off days for him, mentally or physically. He'll give you everything he has.
Last one from Pete.
Alex, knowing Chris as you know him, how much do you think what happened in the postseason last year is a motivation for him, and in general, how he looks at succeeding in the postseason as kind of maybe the final piece of his individual puzzle?
No, I don't know if it's motivation. I think he used it the other way around, you know, like as a learning experience. I heard that in that game, he went to the bullpen and it took him 10 or 12 pitches to be ready, because he was so hyped up, he was ready to go. Like I've been telling you guys since the first day we met in spring training, his stuff was good that day. He just he was, you know, he had no I mean, as far as like location, he was off, but he had Altuve 0-2 in that first at bat, and he threw a fastball around down the middle. Bregman hit a home run and a slider, and then, you know, everything happened fast for him, but then he made an adjustment in Game 4. He was great. Then he pitched well against the Yankees. He came in against the Yankees again. He did well. So I think he used that as a learning experience. You know, it's not like he wants to beat the Astros more than the Yankees or the Royals. You know, with Chris, he'll compete at a high level, even throwing bullpens. So he's in a good place. He's ready to go, and I'm glad that he's going to throw Game 1 for us.
Do you think in general the postseason is something that really matters to him? That
He wants to win a World Series. Yeah, like you talk to David the same way, Kimbrel the same way. There's a lot of hardware down there, you know, Cy Youngs and MVPs and All-Star games and all that stuff, but there's not too many World Series rings down there. Pedroia, Workman, Bogarts, I think that's it. And I know they're hungry for one, and you know they have a shot right now.